Welcome to today's current affairs session. SR Edutainment will cover the top 10 most important topics for exam preparation as of January 22nd, 2025. Stay tuned to the end for key takeaways. Australia, the land of the outback, of kangaroos and koalas. But today, it's a land ablaze, gripped by a heatwave of unprecedented proportions. Temperatures are soaring, shattering records. In Queensland, the skies have turned an angry red as bushfires rage uncontrollably. This, my friends, is not just another news cycle. This is climate change in action, a stark reminder of the fury that nature is capable of unleashing. As the world watches, Australia becomes a crucible, a testing ground for the future of our planet. The human cost is immeasurable, homes lost, livelihoods destroyed, and the ever-present threat to life itself. But beyond the immediate tragedy lies a deeper question. Is this a wake-up call for a world sleepwalking towards climate catastrophe? The time for complacency is long gone. We need concrete steps, bold initiatives, and a global commitment to tackling this existential threat. This is not just about Australia. It's about understanding that the consequences of inaction will be felt far beyond the shores of any one nation. The United Kingdom, a nation still reeling from the recent Southport attack, has unveiled a new arsenal of counter-terrorism measures. Lone wolves, individuals driven by extremist ideologies to commit acts of unspeakable violence, are now firmly in the crosshairs. The message from Downing Street is clear. Enough is enough. But are these measures, draconian in the eyes of some, the answer? Will they truly make Britain safer? Or will they simply erode civil liberties in the name of security? On one hand, the government points to the chilling reality of homegrown terrorism, to the need to prevent the next attack. On the other, civil liberties groups warn of a dangerous precedent, of a society where freedom is sacrificed at the altar of security. The UK's experience is a stark reminder of the challenges faced by democracies around the world as they grapple with the threat of terrorism. It's a reminder that there is no magic bullet, no easy solution. From the bustling streets of Delhi to the Amazonian rainforests of Brazil, the world's eyes are fixed on COP30. And at the heart of the negotiation stands India, a nation of 1.3 billion people, a rising economic powerhouse, and a vocal advocate for climate justice. Gone are the days when India was seen as a reluctant player on the global climate stage. Today, India is leading the charge, pushing for developed nations to fulfill their climate finance commitments, demanding access to clean technologies, and championing the cause of developing countries. India's message is clear. The fight against climate change cannot be won without equity and fairness. Developed nations, historically responsible for the bulk of greenhouse gas emissions, must shoulder their responsibility, providing financial and technological support to developing countries. But India is not just asking for handouts. The nation is walking the talk, investing heavily in renewable energy, promoting sustainable development, and setting ambitious targets for emissions reduction. The latest figures are in, and there's a sense of cautious optimism in the air. India's current account deficit, a key indicator of the country's economic health, has narrowed. But is this a sign of a robust recovery, or merely a temporary reprieve? The devil, as always, lies in the details. Increased service receipts and remittance inflows have played a significant role in shrinking the deficit. But the specter of global uncertainty, driven by geopolitical tensions and volatile commodity prices, looms large. The challenge before policymakers is clear: how to sustain this positive momentum and build a more resilient and sustainable economy. Boosting exports, attracting foreign investment, and promoting domestic manufacturing will be crucial. But beyond the numbers, there's a human story to be told. A story of millions of Indians striving for a better future, of entrepreneurs creating jobs, of farmers toiling the land. In the high-stakes game of geopolitics, technological prowess is paramount, and for India, a nation with aspirations of becoming a global power, achieving self-reliance in defense technology is non-negotiable. The roar of jet engines, a sound once synonymous with foreign dependence, is now taking on a distinctly Indian accent. India is collaborating with global giants like General Electric and Safran, not as a mere buyer, but as a partner, to develop and manufacture indigenous military jet engines. This is not just about building planes, it's about building capabilities, about nurturing a vibrant domestic defense industrial base, and about reducing India's reliance on foreign suppliers. The implications are far-reaching. extending beyond the realm of defense. A strong defense industrial base has a multiplier effect, creating jobs, driving innovation, and bolstering India's overall technological prowess. The roof of the world, the Himalayas, a majestic landscape that has for decades been a flashpoint between two Asian giants, India and China. But amidst the icy heights, there are tentative signs of a thaw. India and China have agreed to disengage troops in the strategically important Depsang and Demchok areas. This disengagement, while limited in scope, is a step, however small, towards de-escalating tensions. But caution, my friends, is the watchword. The border dispute, a complex legacy of history, geography, and national pride, is far from resolved. The road ahead is long and arduous, fraught with challenges. Sustaining the momentum of dialogue, building trust, and finding a mutually acceptable solution will require patience, perseverance, and a willingness to compromise. Chapter 7. Beyond the headlines, India's diplomatic tightrope walk in Afghanistan. Afghanistan, a landlocked nation scarred by decades of conflict, stands at a crossroads. And India, bound by history, geography, and strategic imperatives, is watching closely. Indian officials have engaged in discussions with Afghanistan's leadership, exploring avenues for development projects. This engagement, while fraught with risks, is a testament to India's commitment to the Afghan people and to its own strategic interests. The challenges are immense. The Taliban's return to power has raised concerns about human rights, terrorism, and regional stability. India must tread carefully, balancing its humanitarian instincts with its security concerns. The stakes are high, not just for Afghanistan, but for the region and beyond. A stable and prosperous Afghanistan is in everyone's interest. India, with its long-standing ties to the Afghan people, has a crucial role to play. Chapter 8. Silent Exodus. The disappearing camels of Rajasthan. Rajasthan, the land of majestic forts, vibrant culture, and the ship of the desert, the camel. But today, a crisis is unfolding, silent and largely unnoticed. India's camel population, an integral part of the state's identity, is in freefall. Over the last 6 decades, India has witnessed a staggering 80% decline in its camel population. Habitat loss, driven by urbanization and changing agricultural practices, is a major culprit. The camel, once a lifeline in the arid landscape, is increasingly seen as a burden. The consequences are far-reaching. The decline of the camel threatens not just biodiversity, but also the livelihoods of communities that depend on these animals. It erodes a way of life, a cultural heritage that has been passed down through generations. Urgent action is needed to reverse this trend. Chapter 9. Caught in the crossfire. India's plea for nationals recruited by Russia. The Russia-Ukraine conflict, a tragedy unfolding on the world stage, has cast a long shadow, touching lives far beyond the battlefields. And for some Indian families, the conflict has hit close to home, their anxieties fueled by the plight of loved ones caught in the crossfire. Reports have emerged of Indian nationals, lured by the promise of lucrative jobs, being recruited into the Russian military. Now, as the conflict rages on, their families back in India are living a nightmare, desperate for their safe return. India has stepped up its diplomatic efforts, urging Russia to release the Indian nationals and ensure their well-being. The situation underscores the complex web of geopolitics, economic vulnerabilities, and human aspirations that often collide in a globalized world. Chapter 10. Empty plates, empty futures. Food inflation bites India's school meals. The aroma of spices, the clatter of plates, the laughter of children. Lunchtime at a government school in India. But behind this seemingly routine scene, a crisis is brewing, one that threatens the health and well-being of millions of children. Prolonged food inflation, a relentless rise in the cost of essential commodities, has cast a long shadow on India's ambitious midday meal scheme. The nutritional value of meals, a lifeline for over 120 million children, has been compromised, raising concerns about malnutrition and its long-term consequences. Experts warn that unless the program's funding is increased to match the rising cost of food, the consequences could be dire. Malnutrition, especially in the crucial early years, can have a devastating impact on a child's physical and cognitive development, perpetuating a vicious cycle of poverty and deprivation. Thank you for watching. Stay updated with us for more important current affairs for UPSC preparation. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for daily updates.